I wanted to read this quote from a book that I am reading titled The Rosicrucian Handbook and Hermetic Textbook of Success Secrets. It states, "You may have all the wealth in the world, but unless you recognize it and make use of it, it will have no value. So with your spiritual wealth, unless you recognize it and use it, it will have no value." And that quote really stuck out to me last night when I read it, because I realized I'm learning a lot of this spiritual knowledge, spiritual information, and I have been applying as much as I can to my daily life. But in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I had these random bits of spiritual knowledge that I never put into practice. I never applied to my life. And I thought about how many people actually have all of this spiritual knowledge that they never use, or they might use it only when they're in high vibrations and they're happy or joyous, or excited about something. It's very easy to play off of those positive emotions. But during our lowest hours, we seem to forget or not take use of that spiritual knowledge that we learn to apply it to those emotions that are more negative or low. And when you hold all of this spiritual knowledge and you don't apply it, you're nothing more than just a scholar. You're nothing more than a regurgitated dictionary of information that you don't apply to your own life to actually reap the benefits in your experience. Because true wisdom is not just regurgitating spiritual knowledge that you learn from other people, but it's applying that knowledge and having true experience to then pass on that knowledge to other people so that way they can learn and grow. There's no point of learning all of this information if you're not going to actually apply it to your life. You know how to manifest, but you don't do it to better your life and to better your circumstances. You know how to be mindful and present in the moment, but as soon as you get flustered or something comes up, you can't get it out of your head and you're constantly fixated on this future event when the present is right now. The present is right here. I know for me, I believe that one of my biggest spiritual journeys is my fear of being judged and seen and heard. Because I've always been a people pleaser from a young age, and I'm still working through all of that because of my lived experience and what I went through, that I fear this negative judgment over me. But I know that right on the opposite end of fear is that courage and that burning desire of wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting the recognition, or just being here on YouTube and speaking my truth. And so I know that that burning desire is greater than this fear of being judged. And I know that being judged is inevitable. I am going to have hate comments. I am going to have people unsubscribe from me or taking my word the wrong way, because that's just life. Everyone lives in their own personal world. And because of that, I can say one thing right here, but depending on the ears that are listening, they will interpret it a completely different way based off of their lived experience and their perspective. And I have to be okay with that. That is the spiritual knowledge I'm applying to myself. And let's be real, your spiritual journey, your spirituality is a lifelong journey. It is not something that can quickly fix a situation or your limiting beliefs, your self-doubt. It is something that one minute you could feel unstoppable and know, I'm okay with being judged. I'm okay with X, Y, and Z. But in another day, it can be the complete opposite and bring you down to that inner child that was scared of being judged or perceived incorrectly. And in those lowest hours is when it's the most important to apply that knowledge, to know that I am whole and I am perfect, and the topics that I speak about is not negative. I would never intentionally say or do anything that I believed was bad or wrong or incorrect or something that I should not be speaking on. These topics that I speak on, they're coming from my heart. They're coming from my lived experience, from the spiritual knowledge that I learn and apply to myself. And I have to be okay with being judged. It is okay. So when it comes to all of that spiritual knowledge, all of that spiritual wealth that you have learned throughout the years, apply it to yourself. Apply it. Do not hold on to it, because at that point we're no different than those billionaires, the ones that we always scream eat the rich at, because we know that they do nothing but hoard money. How could you have all of this money and not put it to use to better not only yourselves, your loved ones, and the people around you? That money has no value because it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything for you or the betterment of anyone else. So, what's the point? What's the point of having all of this spiritual knowledge, all of this spiritual wealth, and you're not applying it to yourself to then help apply it to the loved ones around you and the people around you so that way they can use that spiritual wealth for themselves and make their lives better? And that's why I speak on this channel, because part of my spiritual knowledge and spiritual wealth is to share my experience to then help you on your spiritual journey, to take the parts that resonate and leave whatever doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it's your perspective and it's your journey. And spirituality is not a one size fits all. Okay, you have your own personal journey, and there are going to be things that I say that make a lot of sense. You're going to be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. It applies to my life. And there are going to be some things that I say that only make sense to me, and that is okay. But the point is to take the parts that you need to apply for yourself and leave whatever doesn't, and use those parts. Use that spiritual wealth to better yourself. This is a lifelong journey. It is not something that will quickly fix you and you'll be done with it. It's not something where you could say, oh, I have anxiety, I don't want it anymore, so I claim that I don't have anxiety and now it's gone forever. No, spirituality is a lifelong journey. There are going to be times where the things that you were anxious about are no longer anxious about. But then a month later, you could become anxious about that thing that you once thought you overcame. But that's the journey of it all, is to walk through life in the present. Pay attention to your present mind, the thoughts that come up, how you feel in every moment, and always point your intention, your thought, to the things that you truly desire, the things that are burning desires that truly resonate with you, because that's where your energy will flow and that's where you will flourish. Apply that knowledge that you've learned. Apply it to your life. Learn from it. Look at life as the game that it is. Do not take it so seriously. It is okay to frolic and play and to do the things, your deepest desires, and go after that, because you only have this life in this body. You only have this life in this body. If you believe in reincarnation, you still only have this body. So live the life that you want to live. Do the things that bring you joy. Apply that spiritual wealth, that spiritual knowledge that you have learned to your life. And do not allow anyone to dim your light, to tell you that you're wrong about you and your inner truth. My name is Elle. For those of you who are new, I am a spiritual creative. This is my spiritual channel. I also have a creative channel and a Patreon where I dive deeper on both topics. All of that will be listed down in the description box. Please make sure you give this video a like, leave some comments down below so we could chat, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.